Hey, what's going on, y'all? Sean here. I'm on a little bit later. I wanted to get on at 10, but I was finishing up some breakfast with my family. It being the Thanksgiving holiday, my kids are home, my wife is home, and just a different flow, if you will. But I just want to get on here for a little bit. If you have any health and fitness questions, you pop on, you have something you want to ask that is health and fitness related, you can get on here and ask that. I don't have my usual headset. I have my better microphone and my big bulky headphones so I can hear myself. So I'm sure my voice sounds better. I just don't always like to use this because I have to kind of, it's a little bit easier to use a headset. But anyhow, I also wanted to talk a little bit about, with it being Thanksgiving, here in America. For those of you who celebrate Thanksgiving, definitely a holiday celebrated by my family and I. And with this and similar holidays comes food, rich, good food. Just my camera here. But with these kind of times comes very, often very rich, healthy food. And so what I want to do is I kind of want to talk about my approach to holidays like Thanksgiving and Christmas and just even the whole general season. So I will say this as me being transparent. This time of the year is definitely more challenging because it's so much condensed in one time. Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's is so many things condensed in that time. It tends to be it can easily be a season of rich eating, or unhealthy eating. Okay, because let's face it, I know some of the things I'm going to enjoy during Thanksgiving, for example, are things that I purposefully don't eat all the time because of the all of the richness, the sugar, et cetera, et cetera. So, it's meant for special occasions. And hear me when I say this. There is nothing wrong with having special times, of true celebration. I think really the big issue with us is that we celebrate every day. So we eat almost like every day is like a celebration. We're like, hey, it's good to be alive, and it is good to be alive. Thank God for that. But what I mean is, like true special occasions. I don't think there's anything wrong with celebrating that and having a nice meal, birthday or holidays that are celebrated. But we tend to celebrate every day. So anyhow, I digress. This time of the year can be especially challenging because all these holidays are so condensed and it's so much. You got Thanksgiving, you got Christmas, you got New Year's, you have leftovers from Christmas and pies and cakes and all this kind of stuff, and you got office parties and gatherings for other groups that you're a part of, maybe church or civic group or whatever. And so it's a whole lot going on, and people having different kind of specials on different things, sweets and whatnot during the season, items that come available only around Christmas time or whatever. And so again, it's a challenging time. And if I'm honest, in the past, I have you know, digressed. Case in point, I talk about how Coca-Cola was my soda of choice, and I would indulge in it. Now not I wouldn't drink it all day, every day, but I probably drink it most days of the week. And when I say I drink it most days of the week, again, this is not me drinking multiple Cokes in a day. This is me now, unless I went to like a restaurant, I might get a few refills. But I drink, Coke like whenever we went out to eat or something like that. But then I kind of got to a point where I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't just be drinking and stuff like this. And so I got myself off of my addiction because let's face it, that's what it was. But around this time of year, this is around the time of year that I actually will probably drink like a Coke, maybe two. And in the past, I found myself after the season kind of like getting back into it. Because here's the thing, a lot of times when you break a craving, an addiction to a certain food or drink or whatever, what happens is, um, I mean, it's broken. But like if you expose yourself to it enough, then you can find yourself kind of slipping back into it. That's the reality of it all. I truly believe that when you break an addiction, when you break a food addiction or whatever, that it truly is broken. Um, and in my situation, I know that my quote addiction to Coca Cola was broken because I would drink one, still enjoy it, but I'd be like, okay, I'm good, you know. But then if I drank maybe like a second one soon after, then I would start to find myself kind of like feeling that old familiar, like, man, what if I like this, man? Why did I give this stuff up like that? And so you almost have to, what I'm saying is you almost have to kind of force yourself to get back addicted to like foods and drinks and stuff like that after you break the addiction. So it doesn't mean that you couldn't go back into it. It's broken when it's broken, but you're still susceptible, just like you were before you even were introduced to the drink or the food, if that makes sense. But sometimes if you were previously addicted, you break the addiction and you go back, it can sometimes be worse than it was before. So anyhow, I've noticed that about me around this time of year. I've literally had a Coca-Cola in my fridge for the past year. And I think somebody bought it for me or something like that or something. I may have I may have bought that one because like when my mother-in-law's in town, a lot of times she likes Coca-Cola as well, and so I might enjoy a Coca-Cola with her. Um, but anyhow, it's been in there for the past year, and so I'll probably open that up. And for all I know, it could be sweet now. I mean, even though it is closed, but I'll probably drink that one. And but yeah, I can look at it every day and be good. I can look at it and not be tempted at all. Okay. But this is a time of year when everything's going on, all these different type of things. I have to be especially careful and vigilant, listening to my own inner um dialogue and promptings and whatnot. Make sure I don't slip back into stuff. And also make sure, with all the different cakes and things that will be around, because I am gonna eat cake and pie if it's available. But just kind of making sure that you know, I actually actively practice self-control. Okay. And it's a choice. It's a choice. You just have to choose to do that. And you have to, a lot of times, you have to kind of, in my experience, you have to kind of go ahead and set your intention before you even before you even get to the meal and whatnot. So, anyhow, so I am gonna enjoy, food with family and friends. And I just am. I don't really have anything else to say about that. I am, but I am going to be intentional about what I do and very focused and vigilant as far as like how I feel on the inside. Another thing is I'm still gonna exercise. One thing my family does sometimes, and when I talk about my family, I'm not just talking about my wife and kids. I'm talking about like with my parents, and when my family goes to my parents' house, a lot of times what we'll do is we'll take a family walk after the big meal. And that's great because if you know anything about walking after a meal or doing some activity after a meal, I'm not talking about like take your last bite and then you just kind of go out there and walk, even though that shouldn't be a big problem because it's not vigorous. But that actually is very beneficial. It's very beneficial for um blood sugar and whatnot. It actually is not a good idea to just kind of like eat a meal and then just sit and sleep on it and things like that. You might get tired. And the reason why you typically get tired, I think in part is because of the effect of your body putting all that energy into digestion. But I think it's mainly because of your body compensating by secreting a lot of insulin and pulling the sugar into your body cells and stuff like that. So you kind of get like this big drop in energy and whatnot whenever you get an insulin spike because your body's kind of like doing stuff, kind of processing and utilizing the sugar, the glucose. That's the form that sugar is in your bloodstream. So anyway, it's a very good idea to do something like walking right after any meal, especially a meal like Thanksgiving. So I would encourage you, take a walk after you eat Thanksgiving dinner tomorrow. Take a walk. I mean, hopefully you'll eat it early enough in the day where you can still get some of the daylight and do something beforehand. That's what I'm gonna do. So my dad has a weight bench, and I haven't lifted weights in a long, long time. You know me. I do calisthenics, bodyweight exercises for the most part, and so I think I'm gonna lift some weights and kind of use that as an opportunity to make the Thanksgiving meal my my post workout meal and get the whatever advantage there may be from eating the proteins and various other macronutrients right after a workout. So I'm going to do that, and then of course I'm going to exercise the next day because the thing is Thursday is my upper body day, and so I'm gonna do upper body, and that's that. So anyhow, I really want to encourage you, if you listen to this video, hopefully you listen to it here on Thanksgiving. Just be strategic. Just don't where we typically mess up is when we have no plan. We have no plan whatsoever about what we're gonna do for the um for the meals that we eat here during the holidays. So like just have a plan. Have a plan. Don't just kind of like determine that you're just letting everything go. Because if you're really serious about what you're doing, you're not gonna let everything go. I mean, you're gonna enjoy yourself, but you're gonna like set your own boundaries. And sometimes when we set boundaries, we kind of feel like we're restricting ourselves, and you are. But at the same time, it's and I've heard people say this before, but I know there was a point where I realized that it was true myself, that when you set boundaries or you practice discipline, self-discipline, like you actually really are helping yourself to walk in freedom, because to not be disciplined is to be often a slave to your cravings, to your impulses and whatnot. So discipline, it really is a pathway to freedom. Okay. So yeah, that's all I have for today. Just remember, I'm usually here on live. I'm not gonna be on live tomorrow because obviously I'll be with family. Y'all be safe out there, and my heart goes out definitely to those of you who have lost people, either recently or in the recent past. Um, in this time, because I know these times can be hard. So I'm praying for y'all, and I just pray for comfort and peace and peaceful, happy thoughts and whatnot about your loved ones and whatnot. Y'all take it easy and enjoy yourselves. Remember, have a plan. Don't just go out there and just throw everything out you've been doing for your health. It still matters on Thanksgiving. Enjoy yourself. Just don't be afraid to set some boundaries. Okay. All right, y'all. I'm gonna let that be it. Happy Thanksgiving to you. And like I say, be safe and see you next time.